So the K-Ready Community Project started actually before the pandemic, and we came together with the Early Learning Coalition of Orange County and wanted to do something different to affect change for young children because half of our children start kindergarten without the skills that they need to succeed.
We know that when children are in a center-based early childhood education program, they're less likely to be maltreated than they are in a different location, maybe with a friend or a family member. We also know they get better stimulation in terms of their growth and development with social skills, language development, when they're in a center-based care where they have peer modeling, where they have the practice, or they can practice those skills with other children.
90% of brain development happens in the first 5 years. So there's this whole population of brains that are not being developed properly if they're not getting proper early care and education.
And we're finding that children and many families across the board in all areas are needing more support, more services prior to kindergarten. So giving them services that they need in advance, by the time that child is entering school, services are no longer needed. So they're ready to really face the rigor of academics and socialization in our classrooms because they had that opportunity to get those needs supported.
We knew that childcare is not affordable for a lot of families in Central Florida. We knew that there was a teacher shortage, so that childcare programs are having a terrible time trying to staff their classrooms. We knew that there was, since the pandemic, a lot of schools have really struggled. They've struggled because their enrollments are not back up to where they were pre-pandemic, and they've struggled to get teachers to come back to work. So we knew those things in general, but we wanted to gather the data and really get the stories so that we could create some action plans to do something about it.
I never knew how expensive childcare was until I had my son and I returned back to work. And when I found that I was using more than 1 week's salary a month just to pay for daycare, it broke my heart. And you can't ask a mom to choose between working and her child.
Low wages and dealing with the competition that is paying higher wages has affected our program tremendously. Most of the seasoned teachers or the teachers that are well-trained are gone to higher paying jobs. However, we're able to maintain because a lot of the teachers that are here are dedicated.
What I enjoyed the most about teaching is seeing the accomplishments of my children. When they finish their projects, when they've learned something that we've been working on, reading a story, when they give me feedback. It's just seeing the growth in the things that they do.
There's a lot of research around what is an economic impact. If parents don't have reliable and affordable care for their children, they can't go to work. And so then it has an immediate and very localized economic impact. As well as, too, if the children don't get the development that they need, then they aren't going to be reading on third grade as much as they should be. The graduation rates are impacted, college graduation rates are impacted, income levels, and so it just goes on and on.
A lot of the large franchises won't build in our areas. And I always had the vision to serve our community with quality care and quality education. I cut classrooms, this classroom that we're sitting in. This was an early Head Start classroom. I've been an early Head Start provider for 8 years. And we closed this classroom 2 weeks ago because of teacher shortage. I get phone calls from other providers that are really stressed out because they can't keep staff in the centers because they're leaving for higher paying jobs.
We've got this great infrastructure, which again is mostly small, privately owned businesses, mostly women, minority-owned businesses that are struggling right now. So we've got the infrastructure, they've got the passion and the mission, and they care about kids. They just need additional funding. They need the teachers, and they need some support. So let's give them business support, like shared services to help with their bookkeeping and help with their marketing and get their enrollment up. Let's help them hire the teachers that they need. So we build a recruitment and a career development pipeline, let's get some additional funding in there from employers, for instance, so that we can pay teachers better. The providers can afford to pay teachers better. And then let's build a group of advocates here locally so we can advocate with Orange County, we can advocate in the cities, as well as at the state and federal level, so we get some additional funding into the system that way.
The math really doesn't work. So the stakeholders that we need at the table are our government representatives to understand what the economics of the industry are, so that more money needs to come in from subsidy programs to help families that can't afford care. We also need business leaders to come to the table and understand that they want a workforce. If they want people to be able to come to work on a regular basis, they need to understand the math as well and understand that it becomes much more affordable for all parties if everybody comes together and does their part.
And this is an issue that is a very bipartisan issue. It's something that is going to be very beneficial to everybody. In our low-income families, we see that our children are taking care of the siblings because the single mom needs to work. But if we have more support, we're going to have children being children and mothers being mothers, open those doors so they can grow professionally and also have better jobs to sustain their family and not being dependent on the system.
If we don't fix this problem in childcare and early learning, then we're never going to fully recover from the economic impact of the pandemic. It's going to impact our workforce. It's going to impact our social, economic disparities in our community. So our call to action is make it a priority for the sake of our children and for the sake of our working parents, for the sake of our businesses and our entire community.